Good evening. This is Jose Rivera, the CEO of CSIA, for a very special event tonight. It's an out of control, a CSIA Comedy Special, sponsored by Software Toolbox. Tonight we're having Don McMillan, who is an engineer and a comedian. This is not a mistake, it's an actual truth. So, so what we have tonight is just to put this in perspective, and I cannot go past my first slide. Okay, so what we have tonight is just 1 second. Just to put things in a context, tonight we're having a special event, and as we all know, the pandemic forced us to cancel our 2020 conference, and it also forced us to do it for 21. So a lot of the value that we're providing to our members will be delivered in a virtual event format. And if you heard me, I'll say it again, virtual event. I'm killing the word webinar because it does not provide a good explanation. We have created different categories of virtual events. We have the masterclass. A lot of this has been what you have watched in the past in terms of system integration related business presentations, technology presentations. Here's also where we put the professional speakers like the economists that come to our conference and that this year were featured as a virtual event. We also have our CSIA assembly, and this is the type of events that we would have for our town halls and for our award ceremony that we plan to deliver the same way next year. And Member Mingle, this is where we're right now. This is the type of event where we're trying to generate a little bit the lighter side of things, the networking that happens because we're sharing the same experiences, and that's what we're doing tonight. We also have another value proposition for our Latin American members in Spanish, and we have been delivering on that since the pandemic. So just to give you a flavor of it, we'll have 4 presentations by professional speakers next year. You see Alex from ITR Economics twice, and this is on purpose. We want to have him at Q2 and Q4. The economy is changing rapidly, and so we want him to provide an update 6 months after he presented first. But the first speaker is going to be Henry Hutchison, who does consulting for family businesses. There are a lot of you system integrators who are working with your spouses, and there are great things about it, and there are also some challenges, and he will be presenting this. He has been a consultant for family businesses for quite a while. And then some of you may know Mike Guilfoyle from ARC, and he was featured for this year for digital transformation. So he will do that and hopefully provide an update of what has happened to digital transformation with all the impetus provided by the pandemic. So back again, this is an experiment, and when I presented the sketch to John Weber from Software Toolbox, he jumped on it and said, let me be the sponsor. And I go like, this would be a great way to start these type of events. And I see John Weber here. Welcome, John. I'll let you do your presentation here for your company. I want to thank you very much, you and Software Toolbox, for sponsoring this. It goes a very long way for CSIA.
Glad to be here, Jose, and thanks for having the opportunity. I want to thank all the CSIA members and partners and family members who've come out to maybe have a little fun tonight and relax. And just a word from your sponsor, Software Toolbox. It's about the service and support. We're one partner for you that provides a lot of different products from a lot of different software companies. But with Software Toolbox, you have one call, one person, one team to help you, whether it's OPC connectivity, development toolkits, enterprise software, things that add into all the major HMI vendors. We're the ones that reduce your risk and keep you from having to reinvent the wheel. So again, happy to support this. Looking forward to some fun here and hearing what Don has to say. So let's get to it, Jose.
All right. Thank you, John. So one of the things that we want to know is how many people are with you because by just counting the number of attendees, we're not getting at the full count. We know that some of you are with the rest of your family. So please let us know through the chat box where you're dialing in from and how many people are in front of the screen.
Lisa's hiding over here, Jose.
just put it in the chat. So just before I bring Don to the stage, I want to say a few words. So some years ago, I went to an event at my former employer, Emerson Electric, and Don was being presented as a technology guru, and he was going to do the keynote speech during our lunch. And so he was given like this extensive resume, and then when he started doing the presentation, I started figuring out this cannot be the real deal. You know, this guy cannot be for real. And sure enough, he was a comedian. So that was my first experience. And then earlier this year with the pandemic, I saw that Don was also doing these virtual events, and I signed up and I checked them out, and I go like, this is the way that we have to bring him to CSIA. And then I reached out to him and we worked this out. So I'm very glad to have Don for our show. So welcome, Don.
Thank you, Jose. Hello, everyone. It is great to be here. Just as a quick reminder for those of you who aren't panelists, if you put me on speaker view, you'll get to see my whole office, which is behind me, and that's not a real TARDIS for the nerds out there. I'll be well, you'll see later. But if you put me on speaker view, it's the best way to watch me. Thank you, Jose. Thank you for hunting me down. If you know Jose at all, it was impossible to say no to Jose. So that's why I'm here. He's just he would not. He practically stalked me into coming in today's show. So thank you, Jose. And actually, I studied control systems in college. I have a master's degree in electrical engineering, and then I became an engineer because if you know control systems, you know it naturally leads to comedy. It just does. It's the funniest thing out there. There's a couple reasons. There's a couple reasons why they chose me. And by the way, can I say this right now? I live in Southern California. I've had a chance. I've auditioned for HBO. I had a chance in a Netflix special. But here, the CSIA Comedy Special, this is the one I've been waiting for. This is the dream gig right here.
Right.
Jerry Seinfeld, Jay Leno are very jealous of me. How do we get in front of system integrators? That's what we want. This is what we want. And these are actually my favorite shows because I'm going to do jokes here today that nobody else in the entire world are going to get. Only you guys are going to get them. And I know I've tried. I've done jokes about positive feedback op amps in Oklahoma and just had people stare at me, just go, I have no idea what this boy's talking about. It's so nice to have a crowd of my fellow people here today. So why me? Why me? First of all, when you think of control systems and system integrators, you immediately think comedy. I know I do. That's the number one thing. Okay. Secondly, all of my jokes today, I agreed to develop with software toolbox tools. So they're all. John paid me extra to say that. Thirdly, I'm the only comic who actually is CSIA certified. I agree to all the principles and passed the test. And the fourth reason I'm here, and probably the reason I have a lot of engineering fans, is I believe, one of the very, very few comics who works in PowerPoint. And if you think I'm kidding, I'm not. I'm going to go to my slides right now. Here we go. I've actually prepared a lot of PowerPoint slides. And there we go over here. And I have to start by sharing this with you guys. When I first heard about CSIA, I went and did a little research. And apparently, I went to the wrong site. CSIA is also the Chimney Safety Institute of America. I don't know if you knew that. So I have over an hour's worth of chimney jokes that I wrote that I don't think you guys are going to appreciate. I just don't think they're very funny. I have a whole PowerPoint deck where I'm the safe chimney comedian, but again, not applicable to today's show. One of the funny things, I always go into acronyms. So I went to this thing, the acronym finder, and I typed in CSIA. I don't know if you realize this about CSIA, but the number one CSIA acronym actually is the Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport in India. And so when you're telling people if you're a member of CSIA, they're going, really, you fly to India a lot. Do you realize that? That's what people think. The second most common, by the way, is the Chimney Safety Institute of America, apparently a huge group of people. You guys are way down here. You're way down here. That's the Control Systems Integrator Association. You're like 8th. You're just ahead of the Canadian Ski Instructors Alliance. Way to go. These are all true. And then this one, I didn't even know about this one. The Central Secret Intelligence Agency. That's the CIA. None of us knows about. So there you go. You guys actually sound really impressive. I'm a member of the CSIA, if you know what I'm saying. So here's my background. Jose didn't quite go through it all because, frankly, it's not funny. But I have a master's degree in electrical engineering from a little school called Stanford. Perhaps you've heard of it. My parents certainly have. They're still paying. Yeah. I went undergrad to Lehigh University. I worked at Bell Laboratories. I as a chip designer in Silicon Valley. The funniest of all the engineers is chip designers. We're incredibly funny. But then in 1993, I was the Star Search comedy champion. I entered the comedy competition because, there was no engineering category, or I would have entered that one, but there wasn't one. I've been on a Tonight Show, Larry King Live, but I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd at heart, which is why I'm here. I'm a nerd like many of you out there. I know there's a lot of nerds, and be proud to be a nerd. That was me. That was me when I was an engineer right there. I had the beard working. This is how you can tell I'm a nerd. My pants stopped right at the bottom of that photo. That's where my pants are, right there. Okay, when you're tucking your nipples in, your pants are too high. That's what I'm saying. They should not be that high. I had to undo the fly to shake hands with people. That's how high my pants are. That's a visual we didn't need.
Yeah,
okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I'm a nerd. I'm not a geek. I don't like geek. I like nerd better. And what's the difference, you ask? I actually have a Venn diagram to show you the difference. So I'm one of the few comics working in Venn diagrams. It takes three things to be a nerd. You have to be smart, socially awkward, and obsessed. Smart, social. If you're all three of those things, you're in fact a nerd. Geeks, on the other hand, really just smart, obsessed. Star Trek geeks, comic book geeks. Geeks get dressed up. They go to conventions. They do cosplay. They hang out with humans, not nerds. I don't go to a convention unless I'm working, IT support. That's the only reason I'm there. At the top there, if you're smart and socially awkward, you're a dork. We've all spent time in the dork regions. And if you're socially awkward and obsessed, you're a stalker. That's how that works. So you're probably asking yourself, what am I? Am I a geek? Am I a nerd? Or am I a really big nerd? I'm a really big nerd personally. But you can tell, it turns out, by what you do every day, what you do in your life, the products you choose, for example. Like when it comes to phones, I think geeks are Apple people, right? They're into design and the style, not so much how it works, or they don't care. They'll go camp out at an Apple store to buy a better phone. Not us nerds. We'll build our own superior phone before we camp out for somebody else's phone, which is why we like the Android, right? We get in there, we change stuff, we pop the back and void the warranty and then deny it. No, I didn't touch it. I don't know what you're talking about. And then really big nerds have several of both all in their belt. That's the way that works. We think we're Batman. We love the Bat belt. When it comes to fitness, again, geeks are Apple products. So you get the iWatch. Nerds are the Fitbit. And then really big nerds, there's no fitness for big nerds. Come on. What do we need fitness for? No point to fitness. If our fingers are working, we're in shape. That's the way it works. Formal there is a thing called geek chic. There is. Geeks try to act cool. They dress cool. You got the sweater working and the sweet pants. And nerds, we're about functionality, right? Which is why I was talking about this before the call. I love my cargo pants. I love cargo pants. I want storage even in my pants. That's how big a nerd I am, okay? I would put 6 gigabytes in my pants. I don't know why, but I would. And real big nerds, cargo shorts. I don't even need the bottom of the pants. What are they doing? And my poor wife has to live with me, and she's just mortified that I wear cargo shorts. I haven't been adding anything but cargo shorts since March 13th. I haven't. But I defend cargo pants. I defend them. I did a cargo pant analysis. This is why cargo pants are superior, okay? There is a regular pair of pants right there. This much is functional, totally useless part. There is nothing happening in that part of the pants. That is a great pair of pants right there. Look at those pants. Those are the best. You can live in those pants. You don't need a home. You can carry everything you own in your pants. You can get this. If you're into redundancy, you can keep an extra pair of pants in a pocket of your pants. How much better is that? That is safe computing right there. Back to the geek, nerd, big nerd. Transportation, again, geeks are into style. So you see somebody in a Tesla, that's a geek, okay? Nerds don't show off like that. Nerds want something efficient. Get me to point A to point B, very efficient. I like the smart car. It even has the word smart in it. We like smart, okay? I like it small. I can pick it up, put it in a pocket of my cargo pants. That's a great pair. And then really big nerds, they have their mom drive them around. That's That kid is a huge nerd and just sold his company for $5 billion. That's a big nerd. And he's driving a Tesla now, probably. Probably. Sexy women, like the prototypical, like the sex symbol of geeks, is they're into comic books. So Wonder Woman, geeks love Wonder Woman. Nerds, it's all about brains. So Ada Lovelace, software, oh, she's hot. And big nerds, Alexa. Alexa is just, she's AI. That turns us on right there. And then I got to do men too. It's just to be fair, geeks. Captain Kirk, right? Star Trek. That's a geek. Star Trek people are geeks. Nerds. Apparently, I can't explain why, but apparently me. Don't ask me why. And then big nerds, just named this week, apparently, Jose. Way to go, Jose. You are a sex symbol in the big nerd community, Jose. Even though you shaved your beard. I missed that. Because I don't know if you've seen this. Jose is a double for Colonel Sanders with a beard. Which, if you like fried chicken, man, he is super hot. Look at that. That really is amazing how much you look like Colonel Sanders. All right, back to the show. What else about, I kind of dedicated this whole show to system integrators because what you guys are doing is, first of all, because I was an engineer and you're going into plants and people have been doing this stuff forever and that's how they did it. And it's so hard to change people's minds or bring them up to speed. So I really appreciate how hard your job is. So today's whole show is about, I'm dedicating to you and how you guys look at the world. And I think if you're like me, and I think most of you are, because, engineering background, we're problem solvers. We probably all got there because we're great at math, right? Control systems is all about math, right? So I love math, and I try to make math fun. And I came up with this idea. I call it comedy math. And since we're all into math, how do we make math fun? What I realized is math is great for breaking things down and really making it, bringing out the truth in things. And you can do it with pictures. Like, for example, eBay minus the internet, and you are left with a garage sale. See how that works? Garage sale. They get better, I promise. On the other hand, if you take eHarmony and you remove the internet, you have a pimp. See that? Come on, that is true. They're putting people together and taking a percentage. That is a pimp. I'm sorry, that is a pimp. They're e-pimps. That's all they are. They're e-pimps. I always wonder where store names come from. Watch this. AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons, plus the Department of Defense, and you get Old Navy. See that? Don't overthink these. These are really stupid. Here's another one. Serta, the mattress people, plus Kohler, the faucet people, plus religion, and you get Bed Bath and Beyond. I always think they're so full of themselves there. Yes, we know there's something beyond the bed and the bath. We call that beyond. Get over yourself. Wikipedia minus depends, and you get WikiLeaks, of course. Well, that seems obvious. That's the funniest WikiLeaks we'll ever get right there. Watch this. This one's just amazing. Miley Cyrus minus makeup. If you could remove the makeup from Miley Cyrus, you would get Justin Bieber. Look at that. Scary right there. Yeah, no, that is scary. And I've never seen them together. They might be the same person. I am not positive. They've never done a concert together. How could they? They're the same person. Then I got on this makeup kick, right? And let me just preface this one. Rosie O'Donnell minus makeup. Not one of my favorite people. I'll just say that. I've worked with her. Not one of my favorite people. Rosie O'Donnell minus makeup equals Kim Jong-un. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's mean, isn't it? It's mean. A little bit. I feel bad because Kim Jong-un might be a nice guy. I feel bad. Sorry, Kim. I feel bad for Kim Jong-un.
Oh, yikes.
And then finally, Larry King minus makeup, and you get Gollum. Well, I checked the math, and I believe that is correct. Okay. I'm Charles Manson plus Martin Sheen, and you get Charlie Sheen. Of course, that's gotta get rid of that. That's an old joke. I gotta get rid of it. And then finally, the election's coming up, but I'm not a political guy, but I have to make, it's just all about looks, really. So you get Donald Trump plus the Muppets, and you get Alf. Remember Alf? That's where the hair comes from. Look at the hair. It's exactly his hair. That is his hair. And just to be fair, Bernie Sanders plus the Muppets, and you get that old heckling Muppet. So there you go. Nice. Both sides. So I always like to write jokes for the groups that I talk to. So with Jose's help, I did a little research. I went to the CSA website, which, by the way, very, very funny website, chock full of comedy. That is a great. You want some laughs? Go to that CSI website. It's incredible. But one of the things I found out there was that you guys were founded in 1994. CSIA was founded in 1994, which wasn't that long ago. It's 26 years ago. But look how much the world. And by the way, I found this picture there. That's the first class. I don't know if are any of these people still in there, Jose? I'm not even sure. But that's
maybe Bob Z. He was invited.
He's here.
Z's on.
Bob's
Hey, Bob.
Thailand.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. Hey, how are things in Thailand? God, isn't it like 3 a.m. there? God, thanks for getting up. But there you go, 1994. That was the first one. So look how much the world has changed. Actually, it's funny. We all dress exactly the same because engineers do not change their dress. We're all dressed exactly like that today. Bet you anything. But here's what I thought. Look how different the world is since you guys were founded in 1994. In 2020, that's Amazon. In 1994, I don't know if you knew this, Amazon used to be a rainforest. Did anybody know that? A big old rainforest. Kids today have no idea. They're like, rainforest? What are you talking? Do they deliver in 2 days? I don't care unless they can get me stuff in 2 days. I don't care if it's over. Can I get bananas overnight? Can I do that? 2020, that's a cell. You know what a cell phone was in 1994? That was a cell phone. Nobody wanted a cell phone. That's the last thing you wanted when CSIA was founded was a cell phone. It meant you were in prison. You did not want a cell phone. 2020, that's Facebook. That's the CSIA Facebook page right there. In 1994, that was a Facebook. It was painful. You had a book in your face. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to do this back to my youth because child seat in 2020, that was a child seat. That's a child seat in 2020. You know what it was when I was a kid in 1970? That was a child seat. Anybody else remember riding in the back window?
Yeah.
How did we survive? Yeah. I don't know.
Parents do that.
This one's kind of interesting. Actually, it should be a 2000. Remember in 2000, I forgot to change it, but 2000, BlackBerry was the most hottest phone. In 1994, just 6 years before, that was a BlackBerry. Remember that? Nobody even talked about the fruit. Now in 2020, now that's a BlackBerry again. Nobody even knows it was a phone. BlackBerry, it's a grapefruit. What are you talking about? Phone? They have no idea. This is really quite amazing. My sister happens to be a network security analyst, a forensic security analyst, and she has 2 paths now that she did not have back in 1994 for her career. In 1994, she wanted to become a highly paid network security consultant. Here's what she had to do. She had to become a forensic analyst, then a forensic lab director, then a chief security official, and then eventually a highly paid security consultant. That would take her 20 years. In 2020, this is an equally legitimate career path to be a network security expert analyst. Right here. You get hacker, criminal, convict, highly paid security consultant. That'll take you 2 years, 14 months with good behavior. Different time. We're living in different times. A couple more. 2020, there's social distancing, right? Social distancing. That's what it is. Everybody got to stay 6 feet away, right? We're all doing it. In 1994, this is social distancing. That's the nerd table. That was the cool kids table, 6 feet. It was natural then. I don't know about you as an engineer. I've been social distancing since I was a kid. It's very comfortable to me. Here's another one. Cardiac stress test in 94. They used to do your cardiac stress test. They put you on a treadmill, hook you up, and then and measure your heart. You know what they do now in 2020? They hook you up and turn on CNN or Fox. Either one. Doesn't matter. Fox or CNN. If you can take 10 minutes of the news, your heart is absolutely fine. That's the current. 2020, there's the Wii. My son and I play the Wii all the time. Amazing game. You know what a Wii was in 1994? That was a Wii. Not the thing. Why would they think that was a good name? I still don't understand that. And then finally, this is how I got on this kick. They asked people in a USA Today survey, what is the first thing you do when you get out of bed in the morning? 34% of people read email, 23% check weather, 20% post to social media, 17% read news, and 6% check markets. If you asked the same question in 1994, the year you guys, CSIA was founded, what's the first thing you do when you get out of bed in the morning? 97% of people would say, I pee. Remember those days? Anybody remember? Remember when we had time to pee in the morning? I don't remember that, actually. I don't. 3% of people would say, I change the sheets when I peed in them. That was the other one. This is a different world. Thank you. So my goal here today is to make you laugh. I mean, more than ever, I think at this time of the stage where we are in the world, we need to laugh. It's great for you. It reduces stress, lowers your blood pressure, burns calories. It's just really good. Gets you breathing. But what about next week? How can I inject some comedy into your future? How can I provide a future laugh? So I took to heart. I've come up with a new state-of-the-art tool just for you, all you certified system integrators out there, and I'm going to call it, in your case, SITRC, or Systems Integrators Time Release Comedy. You can try to pronounce that acronym, but it's a Citric. No, that's a company. Never mind. So here's what I'm going to do. I tried to find some terms, and by the way, some of these jokes I have never written before. They may be funny. This is like alpha test. These could crash and burn. I have no idea. But I picked out terms that you might use in your job, and I'm going to attach jokes to those words. So the hope is that some time in the future, next week, next month, you'll be talking to somebody, you'll use that word or hear that word, you'll think of my joke and go, and people are like, what are you laughing out there, Jose? What's funny about that? And then you'll share my joke, and it'll be a little future comedy. That's how this works. Okay, so you got it. So here we go. Here's a quick example of how this works. Enterprise server. That is a waiter on Star Trek. Okay, that's how this works. They get better, I promise. That sets the algorithm. So we're all on the same page. RS-232. I know that was around when I was a kid. RS-232. That's a recommended standard after RS-231 and before RS-233.
Of course.
I assume they were at that. What happened before 232? Were there 231 mistakes? That was my kid. Oh my God, everything's blown up. That's a lot of standards. API, Application Programming Interface, I believe, or Kim Kardashian trying to recite the alphabet. That's we got the first letter right. That's pretty good. Digital transformation. Who is not talking about this? Everybody's talking about digital transformation. Now, when I think of digital transformation, I think the result of a great manicurist. There's before, there's after. Wow, that's a transformation. Works for toes as well. Toes, fingers, whatever. Digital. Got it. Okay. Pop three. Your mom's third husband. That's stupid. There's some of them are just dumb. Really, don't overthink these. They're just. But next time you change your email settings, there'll be a little laugh. So there you go. Discrete logic. That's systems design that can be trusted to keep your secrets. It's got some discrete logic over there. I thought that was funny. All right, that's one that crashed and burned. Let's keep that a secret. Let's make that discrete joke. A sampling rate. This one's pretty stupid. I just wrote this today. Sampling rate. That's the frequency of visits to free food at Costco. I like it. You like that? Yeah. I swear I never. Every time I go now, I'm going to think, my control. My sampling rate has just gone up. I'm going to have a much more accurate picture of this bottle.
Pandemic's made it 0, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah, people. Wow, I'm getting technically heckled right now. Thank you so much.
Yep,
You're right, though. You're right. You're absolutely right. The sampling rate has dropped to 0. I had a horrible dampening effect. Critically damp. Oh, look at that. I set up my next stroke. Critically damp. That's the best way to describe life in Seattle. That is critically damp. I had a dampening joke. I think I'm the first comic to write a dampening joke. I really do. ASCII, old term, but a favorite. ASCII, that's what you use to start your donkey. That's stupid. I know that's dumb. We have to picture a donkey and a key, and it's kind of funny. So my friends were giving me grief about this. They're like, ASCII, that's such an old term. Why don't you write at least a new? So I wrote a new C++. C++. That's the highest grade ever received by an engineer in an English class. That's C++. Fault tolerant. You guys certainly know about fault tolerance. Fault tolerant. That's absolutely essential quality for a happy marriage. Believe me. My wife is incredibly fault tolerant. And her sampling rate is quite high. Let me just tell you that right now. Decoupler. Oh, there you go. That's another name for a divorce attorney. Oh, a decoupler. You know who made me think of that one was, what's her name? Who was married to that singer guy. Oh, never mind. They actively decoupled, and I thought of that joke.
Gwyneth.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow. That's her name. Yeah. Voice over IP. This was interesting because they always say voice over IP. They never say VoIP. Why not VoIP? But they always say voice over IP, which to me, voice over IP sounds like talking on the cell phone while in the bathroom. That is voice over IP. Your voice is over your IP. I see guys all the time, Bluetooth headset, just standing there at the urinal. Hey, Bob, how you doing? No, I can talk now. I'm free. No, you're not. You're peeing. You're not free right now. Waterfall? What waterfall? I don't hear a waterfall. Hot swappable. I do a lot of, I've done a lot of storage companies, and I always just my favorite term when they go, oh, yeah, that memory's hot swappable, which to me sounds like the best kind of couple to find at a swingers party. That is hot swappable. Which gave me a scuzzy joke, because scuzzy is the worst kind of couple to find at a swingers party. I had a scuzzy joke. I've always wanted a scuzzy joke, and hot swappable gave me a scuzzy joke. So there you go. MMI, which is a man-machine interface, right? For you guys, or this is really stupid, but it's 2001 in Roman numerals. It's MMI.
That's about the time that term got retired.
Yeah. Really? So that joke's out of date. I'll fix it. I promise. MP3. That is 3 o'clock in the afternoon to a dyslexic. If you're a dyslexic, you're probably not laughing. I apologize. I'm sorry. And please don't report me to the ADN, which is the National Association of Dyslexics. There's like a triple twist on that joke. So that's a hard joke. That is a hard joke. SCADA data. I just love saying SCADA data. That is Dr. Seuss' control book on control systems. SCADA data. I do not like it, Sam. It's SCADA data. And that goes perfectly with big data, which is Jose Rivera's rapper name. Did you know he was a rapper?
Nice business.
He's hitting the road soon. Check out Jose's new album, SCADA data. You should record a SCADA data, Jose. I really. Here's the other thing I know about system integrators, and I know this about all engineers. We love to pick on other engineers because we know our type of engineering is superior. So like mechanical engineers will pick on electrical engineers, and system integrators will pick on mechanical engineers, and industrial. We love to pick on industrial engineers because we have no idea what they do. We think the I stands for imaginary, but don't get me started. So I realized, because I played a lot of engineers, I need a joke for every kind of engineer. So I actually have a matrix of light bulb jokes just for every kind of engineer. And I thought you guys would appreciate this. So, and I've added you guys, by the way, too. So for example, how many systems integrators does it take to change a light bulb? How many system integrators? None. We get a technician to change it. See, I know how you guys run. You don't actually do it. No, we have technicians do that. I run the numbers. How many mechanical engineers to change a light bulb? 3, or 1 to do it, and 2 more to fix the things that were working, but the first engineer broke. If you know mechanical engineers, you know that's true. That is very true. How many civil engineers to change a light bulb? 6, 1 to do it, and 5 to do the environmental impact study. They're crazy. They're crazy. How many industrial engineers? Like I said, currently it is 1, but we think we can get it down to 0.76 in 4 to 6 months. How we keep a 0.76 of an engineer alive, we haven't figured that out yet, but that's all we need. We need 3/4 of an engineer. How many software engineers? Now, this is my favorite one, and I have to preface it by saying this. I originally posted this joke on my Facebook page, and you'll see in a second, I can't really read it. I just posted it. And the story that goes with it is funnier than the actual joke. But this is how many software engineers does it take to change a light bulb? That many. Okay. It is code if you don't recognize it. And here's the funniest part of this joke. I posted this on my Facebook page, and within seconds, I was getting trolled by every software person out there like, that code sucks. Who wrote that code? That is totally inefficient. You didn't even define your energy correctly. Take that down. They were sending me code. I kid you not. I swear to you, people were sending me code. That's true. That's a true story. And then finally, talked about network security before. How many network security engineers to change a light bulb? Well, before I tell you, first enter your username and password. I can't tell you. And then you have to enter 3 security questions. Then type these letters into the box if you could. Then how many of these squares actually have a sign in it? Then you have to prove you're not a robot. And then, oh, I'm sorry, the secure connection failed. There was no answer to that. That's my experience with these security people. What's next? I got to get a drink. Hold on. Any questions at this point, by the way? Anybody got a question? Any panelists got a question? Oh, by the way, Jose, we're still doing the backstage after the show, right?
Yes, whoever wants to stay after the show, they're welcome.
Yeah. So if you do have any questions for me, stick around after my show, which I still have more to go. But I'll be hanging out, and if you got anything you want to ask, we can do that. I'm going to check the chat room real quick, just because I can. See if there's anything on the chat room. It's fun. It's great. Okay, everybody's just enjoying it. There's nothing good there. All right, back to my show. So we're always solving problems, right? This is part of the thing about us, system integrators, engineers. We're problem solvers. Now we're in the pandemic, right? We're all wearing masks. It's a great idea to wear masks. You should wear a mask. But when I see somebody in a mask, I immediately think, what is this man feeling? We've kind of lost connection to humanity, right? What is his mood? So here's my idea, and I thought of this all by myself. Remember the mood ring? They were around when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember this, but you'd wear a ring and it would change color depending on your mood. So my idea is, why not a mood mask, right? Right? It changes color. So if it's yellow, it means you're happy, right? Oh, he's happy. It's a yellow mask. If it's blue, oh, he's sad. He's blue. See, that's how this works. If it's red, run from that person. Don't get anywhere near a red mask. Just run away. Just run. If it's half black, half white, they're bipolar. Don't get near that person. If they're clearly on drugs, if their mask looks anything like that, and if it looks like that, they're Scottish. I have no idea what that means other than they're Scottish. Here's the other thing. We're problem solvers, and one of the big things in our industry, and actually in any industry, is communication, right? Especially with engineers. We're not great communicators. We have to work with sales and software and marketing. And how can we improve this? So we've all seen these universal speech translators where you pop this thing in your ear and somebody's speaking French to you, and then it's real-time translation in English, and it works in all these modes. And my thought immediately as an engineer and a comedian was, you know what I really need in the business world? I really need a universal business translator. So it takes, for example, what a salesperson tell me and what it really means. Tell me that wouldn't be valuable. Right? So if I have this in my ear and they come to me and they say, that's a great question. If a salesperson says, that's a great question. Hey, that's a great question. I know that really means I didn't understand a word of that question. That is a great question. You're really smart, aren't you? Hey, you're sort of a smart guy. I'll get back to you on that. Okay. If a salesperson says it's easy to use, that really means we don't offer any support. It's easy to use. It's intuitively obvious. We don't need support. There's no documentation. It'll just work. Trust us. If a salesperson says I spent 2 years working for myself, it really means I was in prison. But to be fair, we're the same. Engineers, system integrators are the same. Sometimes we're not exactly forthcoming. So there needs to be a system integrator doing English mode as well. So if a system integrator's talking to you, I'm going to tell you what it really means. So if a system integrator says to you, did sales tell you that? Did sales tell you that? That really means it doesn't do that. It's not even really possible. I'm really sorry. We need zero gravity for that. I apologize. If a system integrator says that's a new feature, that really means, that's a mistake we couldn't fix. That's just going to have to live with that. No, it's we call that the exploding stop. It stops, it bursts into flame. That's the exploding stop. And then finally, if an engineer says, or a system integrator says, so far we're on schedule, that really means we haven't started yet. Yeah. We expected to be late, and sure enough, we are. We'll be a week later next week, but we'll get there. And then the hardest one, I think, is the executive to English translator, because a great executive will speak for like an hour. And you'll say, well, what did he or she say? You go, I don't know, but I feel good. I don't know. I can't pin him down. I can't pin her down, but I feel good. So the executive English, the hardest one. So if an executive says it's a complex issue, that is a complex issue. That really means I have no idea what we do. Yeah, it's a complex issue, not appropriate for this forum. We're going to take that offline and discuss it at a later time. I have no idea what we do. I'm the wrong person to ask. If an executive says we are working on a solution, rest assured we have the best interests of our customers in mind. It really means I have no idea what we do. Executive says keep up the good work. It means I have no idea what we do. And an executive says hello. It means I have no idea what we do. Fairly simple device. I'm going to go to this one here. I got a couple more jokes. Any questions before I have one more bit to do? Any more questions before I wrap it up? Good. Don't forget to stick around, by the way. All right, you guys are good. This last part. Now, I was thinking about when I was in my systems classes in college. We always had charts, Bode plots, feedback. There were always charts, and I thought, I'm going to pull out my favorite charts for this group because if nothing else, that's what we love. We love charts, right? That's what we love. So these are some of my favorite charts. The first one, I love a chart that really sums up a whole experience. In like one chart, a whole experience. So this is what's going to happen if you're making microwave popcorn. Okay, there's the number of edible pieces there on the y-axis, and on the x-axis is the time. Right. So you're at 1 minute, 2 minutes, no pieces have popped. It's very quiet in the microwave, not much happening. At some point above 2 minutes, you don't know exactly where. All pieces are popped, all pieces are burned. Isn't that way? Every time. The bag is on fire, the smoke alarm is blaring, and your house will stink for at least a week. And that small window of edible popcorn that is 0.1 or 1 picosecond, it's actually been reduced. You can't do it. You should just get the second bag ready, open the window, it's going to burn, and you'll have a second bag. Some of my charts, I don't know why they're true. I just know that they are from my experience. Okay, this happens to me all the time at my gym. That's the locker room at my gym right there. I walk in, I am the blue dot right there. I start to get changed. Pretty much the minute I get all my clothes off, 12 guys walk in, and this is where their lockers are. A single time. Huge empty locker room. I'm surrounded by naked guys within seconds. It's amazing. It's amazing. I just added this for Halloween. I just for Halloween this year. I love to look back through the ages, and yeah, I don't know if you're getting your Halloween costume ready, but here we go. Here's the scariest Halloween costumes. 1978. I remember I was a kid. The scariest one was Jason. Remember Jason from Halloween? Very scary, yeah. And then in 1996, Scream. That was a great Halloween costume. 2008, the Joker. Everybody's the Joker. Something about green hair. And then the scariest Halloween costume this year is actually no mask. That is a scary costume. You're not wearing a mask. Nobody is opening the door. That is too scary. I had to share that. I literally wrote that joke this week. I had to share it. Here's the key. A lot of times I when I look at stuff, I look at it through an engineer's eyes, and where most people wouldn't apply it. And I applied it to my marriage. What are the secrets to a happy marriage? I've been married 25 years, and there's a lot of secrets. I can't say I know one, but this really helps. If you can get this to line up, your spouse's looks there on the left, and your vision there on the right, if you can get those to decay at exactly the same rate. They're both going downhill, trust me. There's no avoiding that. But if they go together, you're going to be happy for the rest. I can look right at my wife and say, honey, you're as beautiful today I met you. Oh, I'm sorry, you're over there? You're as beautiful today I met you. Still in the room? Where'd you go? I can't. Where are you? Here's another. I so hate that people think us tech folks, us engineers, don't have emotions. So I came up with a set of emojis just for us engineers. This is just for us engineers because we do have emotions. They're a little different. It's like here, for example, that one right there, that emoji in an engineer. That means we're happy. That is a happy engineer. Trust me. Okay. That is a sad engineer. That's a feature. Okay. That's good. That's mad. That's amused. This is a good thing. Love, confused, disgust, surprised. And that one right there, see that one? Look carefully. See that one? That one is the project is finished. That is accurate. We love that. And then this will be my last slide because the biggest question I get when I do these shows is, how the heck does somebody go from engineer to comedian? It is not your typical career path. So I figured out finally, it was the choices I had when I was in high school. And Venn diagrams are perfect for really showing this. So I was good at two things in high school. I had math skills, good at math, and I was good at problem solving. And when you're good at those two things, no guidance counselor says, you, sir, should become a comedian. It does not happen. No, it will not happen. They'd get fired. So they said, go be an engineer. So I got my engineering degree. I became an engineer. It makes perfect sense. If you're good with people, right, you have people skills and you're good at problem solving, you probably go into management, right? You're good at handling people. Makes perfect sense. You're an MBA, you're a management person. Over here, this is what gets a little more complicated. You have OCD, right? Everything has to be exactly right. And you got math skills. You're an accountant is what you are. You're an accountant, right? Yeah. You can't solve any problems, but you can identify them. That's what accountants do. Yeah. Accountants will look right at you and go, oh, this is not adding up. I have no idea how to fix it, but I'm glad I'm not you. That's an accountant. Over here, if you're into drinking and you have people skills, well, join our sales force. Welcome aboard. Over here, if you're heartless and you have OCD, you're in human resources. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. Take it personal, HR people. We love you. If you're heartless and into drinking, you're a lawyer. I know that was right. And if you're all those things, you're in fact a comedian, which is how I got here today. So there you go. And with that, I am going to throw it back to Jose. I hope you all had a good time. Join us afterwards in the backstage. And take care of yourselves. Keep laughing. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Don. So we have this opportunity for those who want to stick around to go to the backstage and ask Don other questions that we may want to ask him.
Mm-hmm.
So we have still plenty of people around. So maybe you want to check the chat box.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Jose is now spotlighted.
Yes.
Your wife liked it, Jose.
So unfortunately, we're not together right now. She's in a different location, taking care of my mother-in-law.
You decoupling?
Decoupling.
Just for tonight.
There you go.
So Don, what's been your toughest crowd? Like I would have thought engineers would be a tough crowd, but who do you find is your toughest crowd?
If people know what I'm about, if you are familiar with this group, you'll know exactly how painful this was. 17 years ago, I remember it to the day, I was in Washington, D.C. for 900 enrolled actuaries. Now, enrolled actuaries are the people that work for insurance companies and figure out the probabilities of death and stuff like that. The most serious group of people I have ever met. They just stared at me and just went, that might be funny, but I have no sense of humor. That's basically what they did to me. Very tough group. Very tough group. That was probably the hardest show ever.
So somebody posted in the chat that says, you didn't like Rosie, but who was your favorite to work with?
Wow, that's so hard to say because they're my friends. If this is like picking one of my favorite kids. Yeah, well, I worked with Robin Williams a lot because I started my comedy career in San Francisco, and he used to. What was great about Robin was that he would stop by the comedy clubs and all the time because he was like addicted to comedy, and he would hang out in the back room, and he would be as entertaining in the back room where the comics hung out, and he was really, really fun to work with. So I miss him. I miss him a lot. But he was great and just a genius comic. My friend said he vomited comedy. He couldn't even help but say funny things. He was great. But I admire
comedian.
Yeah, really. But like writing wise, I think George Carlin might be the best writer, just pure writer of comedy. And Seinfeld is a joke craftsman. There's so many ways to judge comedy. It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I like the Three Stooges too. You hit me in the head with a hammer, I'll laugh. I don't know. Punk.
Well, I think that there's another famous engineer turned comedian, and that is the one from the Dilbert cartoons.
Oh yeah, Scott Adams. Yeah. But Scott himself is a very low-key guy. I've met Scott. He's a very serious guy. But he's great. He's very funny. His cartoons are great.
Don, I think a lot of your work reminded me a little of Dimitri Martin.
Oh yeah, I know Dimitri. Yeah,
and I think
with the flip charts. Yeah,
yeah, he's just an excellent comedian. And a lot of you're very visual, and everything. And I totally enjoyed it. It was great.
Yeah, Dimitri. I've actually never met Dimitri. We've swapped. He does corporates too. I do a lot of corporate shows, and so does he. And we've passed and sent messages back, but I've never worked with him because he doesn't do many comedy clubs nowadays either. So it's the only place we would meet. But yeah, he's great and very clever. I remember I was just talking to somebody the other day about Tom Lehrer. He was probably one of my favorites nerd. He's a singer, comedian, songwriter guy, and he was great too. He's super smart. Has that song The Elements. So anybody can be that smart and funny has always been great to me.
So Don, any thoughts on Dave Chappelle?
Here's a story about Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I love it.
I headlined all the improvs right after I won Star Search. So I headlined all the improvs in like early 92, 93. And I headlined the Washington, D.C. Improv in like 95 or 96. And I had this young opening act, Dave Chappelle, who opened for me.
Way.
He'd only been doing comedy about 20 minutes. And he hit the stage, and I went, is he ever going to speed up? Because he's the slowest talking comic I've ever seen. Because you know how he takes his time. And by the end of his 7-minute set, he nearly got a standing ovation. And I went, oh my God, this guy's going to be incredible. Even back then. And he was like 18. I think he was 18 at the time. So I could say he opened for me. I could say that literally.
That is amazing. He's my favorite all time.
Yeah. And he's a very nice.
You are, but after.
That's okay.
Hey, Colin, can you spotlight Don, please?
Oh,
yeah, of course.
What's interesting about that, Colin, is that he is what you see, man. He's just a really thoughtful young man. Oh, he's not so, then he was even at 18 he was thoughtful, and he thought about big things, and he talks about big things. Even then he was. He's very true to what he
the things that he intertwines together, and like the way that he makes the heavy topics seem even conversational and light. Like he can, he's a master. The guy is just incredible.
Yeah, and a really decent guy. And when he went away for a few years, I think he never got into it, I think, to be a superstar, and it overwhelmed him, and he didn't like it, and he just went away for a while.
He turned down $50 million from Comedy Central, and
got to respect that. Yeah, but he's still funny.
Hollywood got to him, and he needed to take a sabbatical in Africa for however many years he left.
If you ever want to think engineering in the tech world is messed up, try to come to Hollywood and do that. Whoa, my God!
I believe it.
It'll make you long for the days of working in the industry. It's the best description I ever had of Hollywood was it's a bunch of people running to where lightning just struck. That's what it is.
So we had another question come in. This question is, have you ever met Lee Iacocca? I don't even know who Lee Iacocca is.
Lee Iacocca was the head of Chrysler and is a Lehigh University graduate. So
yeah,
I never did meet Lee, but I certainly his name comes up a lot because our connection through Lehigh. But no, he never hired me for a gig. I'm a little mad at him, frankly. Yeah. He could afford me.
I like how you brushed over when I won Star Search. Like, you just dropping that.
People don't. For the younger people, it's kind of the original like America's Got Talent. It was very much similar to America's Got Talent, but it was 25 years ago now, so it was a long time ago. But and it wasn't $1 million. I wish I'd got $1 million. It was 100,000, which at the time was pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't think there were many comedians winning that, right? It was.
Well, they had different categories. There was a comedy category. There was I don't know if you remember it, but there was a modeling category. They just modeled clothes. And swear to God, it was really.
How'd you do in that one? How'd you do?
I did not do it. The swimsuits competition killed me.
So I have a question for you, Don. At home, how is it? Is it like you're banned from telling jokes at the dinner table, or like?
My favorite thing is when my wife comes to me to a gig, a comedy club gig, and after the show, I'm standing there and I'm talking to people, and they'll come up to her and they go, "It must be so much fun to be married to a comedian." And my wife will look at him and just go, "You have no idea." Because actually, I still can make her laugh, but I'm not like shuffling jokes all the time. I do goofy stuff that makes her laugh, but I try not to be like a joke machine around my family. They would have none of that. They would not have any of that. But I will do stupid stuff. One time we were at the airport, and it just was a weird day, and my son was in front of. Now, remember, I have kids. Right? I shouldn't be acting like this. I decided I was bored, so I got on the luggage cart and rode it around all the way inside and behind the thing, and waved at all the people, and I came back to. I'll do stuff like that. So there's something wrong with me. Which has made the rest of my family very serious. They're just like, here he goes again. What are we going to do with him? So.
And then the other thing that I always wondered, if we were to go and watch the people that do SNL, right? So how does it work? I mean, is it like this impossible creative session, or like it's totally quiet and suddenly at one point they have the idea?
No, it's very writers' rooms are really neat. They've tried to do shows about writers' rooms. I've written for a couple of shows. It's like a jam session where people are just throwing out ideas, and it's really funny. It's very almost spiritual in that like an idea catches on and everybody goes down that road for a while, and then that goes nowhere, and then somebody throws another idea out and it goes up and down, and then you get on a roll and you write it down, and it's intense, and it goes. Especially Saturday Night Live, because they have to do a new show every week. Those guys will spend like 12, 14 hours in a room just writing. It's insane. But it's an amazing creative process. It's like I can't even describe it. But it's exhausting. So that's why nobody does that show more than a couple of years, because it just wears you down. And sometimes you get an idea. This is always great in comedy. I used to do a joke about that. I go, you ever have an idea? It's funny. It turns out it's only funny to you. Well, that's my act. So sit back and enjoy it. But it's so amazing when you write it. You never know if a joke's going to be funny until you actually try it. And I've had plenty of jokes where I put it out there and just silence, and that's painful in the comedy world. But it happens.
Yeah. Well, how do you handle hecklers?
A lot of people have different techniques. I usually just talk to them, and eventually they will make themselves look like idiots. So I just let them hang themselves. You know, I usually ask them what they do for a living, and the one guy goes, you know, some guy goes, "What do you?" When I started out, standard heckler line is, "Keep your day job," and I go, "Yeah, really funny, sir." I go, "What do you do for a living?" Nothing. "Oh, how do you know you're done?" You know, stuff like that. Or like if they're yelling just like, "You suck," and it's like, "Hey, I don't come down to your job and knock the pickles out of your hand while you're putting them on the burgers. Shut up, mister." You know, there's a lot of standard heckler lines, but I mostly just ask them what they do and, you know, why are they being obnoxious, and that's usually, they usually seal their fate by then.
So a question has come through that says, do you do comedy full time now? When was the last time you did anything engineering?
I fixed my router yesterday. Does that count? I'm the network analyst in my family. I have to take care of all the networks. I haven't been paid to do engineering in 20 years. So it's been a long time. I've been full-time comic since 95. 95 is when I quit full-time. Yeah, it's been a long time now. I've actually been a comedian much longer than I've ever been an engineer. But I think this, and CEO Jose, don't take this personally, but I think I'd be a great CEO now. But because I've done all these companies, I've done every industry, pharmaceuticals, trucking, high tech, control systems. I know this much about 1 million industries. I'd be a great CEO, and I'd be entertaining. Come on, somebody hire me as a CEO. I'd be great. You need
to, and you probably have
mastered all the passwords.
And I can BS my way. That's right, and executives don't know anything anyway. I'd be a great CEO.
So is there any industry that was surprisingly easy to entertain?
Ooh, human resources people. The first time I was hired to do a group of human resources professionals, I was so worried because they were all HR people from different companies. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to just look at my act and just be total critically. But here's what I did not expect. They weren't at work. They were all away from their work so they could kick back. They were crazy wild. Because they weren't, it wasn't their company. So they were great. They were like the best crowd. I was very surprised at how good they were. They wanted to relax, and they didn't have to worry about what's he saying because it wasn't their company. They didn't have to worry about what I was saying. They could actually laugh. So that was great. That's a true story. Not that everything I don't say isn't true, but that one, I try to be. I find the truth. There's a comic that has a show called "Only the Truth is Funny," so I actually find the truthful stuff to be the funniest. So.
Why don't we hear from Pat Miller?
Well, I'm pretty excited about all of this. Thank you so much for doing this, Jose. And this really is turning a corner for us. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And I did not see you on the list. Pat Miller was one of the co-founders. He was on the picture you showed at the beginning. So.
Oh, you were in that photo. Wow, way to go, Pat.
I was Pat. One of the guys. I was one of the guys with the white hair. Probably the only one.
How did the Yankees do in the World Series?
Kiss my what?
As well as the Tigers did, Sam.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to find the picture. I want to throw it up there and see if we can find out which one is him.
Well, not only that, but I have a question for Pat. Are you still wearing the same pants?
I wear suspenders now.
That's funny. Wait a minute. I think I can find the. I'm trying to find the photo. Wait a minute. I'm almost there.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, I got to tell you, in '94, Patrick was old.
No, that's not it. Where did it go? I couldn't remember where it was. Wait, I know where it is now. I'm almost there.
I kid you not, I have that picture here in my office.
Do you really?
Yeah,
That's great.
Bob Z blew it up, put it in a frame, sent it over to my house. So I have it here.
There we go. I found
Bob
it.
Z say hi to us from 9 a.m. in Bangkok.
Yeah, he did.
There you go. Which one are you, Pat?
Oh, sorry.
I'm in the back row with the red sweater,
There we go.
The old guy.
next to Charlie.
This one
Between
here.
the words shell and island.
Oh, this one right here. Wow.
I don't think we can
About
see
the
your
middle of
mouse.
the back row.
Yeah.
Yeah, right below the I in Island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see you.
Ah,
Now you're not wearing that shirt, are you, Pat? That's cool.
I think that's Bob Z on the left side in the gray pants and the blue shirt.
It is. That's
Yes. Yep.
Actually, I must be old because they don't look that old to me. That looks perfectly reasonable to me. I don't see anything wrong. I wouldn't know that was 94. That could be last week.
So if you look into my video, that is the same picture. It's framed.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Bob Z, send it over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, we've come a long ways thanks to all you guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you for
Pat,
dialing in.
Pat, say hi to Ann for us, and I hope the family's doing well.
Same to you, Sam.
So Bob Z, Colin, can you make Bob Z put him on mic because he's in the chat too.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Now we can razz Bob about his outfits.
Should I bring that picture back up again?
Yeah,
Hold on.
he's wearing the stash. He's got the 70s stash going on.
I got Bob Zizcon or Siscon.
No, it's Robert.
Bob,
like-
Robert
Z.
Dragonfus.
Oh, he's in Robert. Okay, there you go. Okay. All
And
right.
Bob
I'm
Siscom, that-
promoting him.
How'd you get your name to be Bob Siscom, Bob?
I don't know.
Every opportunity to promote your company, right?
No, I just seeing that picture, I'm like, man, that was I think a shirt I had in the 70s. I don't know if I changed for 20 years.
That looks like
Your
a perfectly
voice, Bob.
reasonable golf shirt. I'd play golf in that shirt.
If
cool.
it's
Bob, are you really in Thailand or are you just making that
yeah,
up?
I'm in quarantine right now,
Oh,
Wow.
which is another name for prison.
Yeah.
Ew.
But
How's
do you
the
have
rest?
wine?
Or you could say it's a cheaper version of as a detox.
No, there's no wine. How do
There's
you
no
quarantine
wine?
without wine?
No booze.
That's funny right there.
I just got my temperature checked. They come in twice a day to check the temperature. Where you have to stay in the room. They bring the food to your room.
Wow.
And
Wow.
after 7 days, we're allowed to leave the room with escort. Right.
Mm.
So there's like a little brick yard. We can walk back and forth. It's about 10 paces each way.
How you doing there, Rob?
I'm doing good.
Would you and Ben just fly over there then?
Yeah, well, yeah. So, she has work to do in her cocoa farm.
Yep.
And I figured I'd get away from the COVID and the after election riots.
Good move. I'd love to join you.
Can we come?
Beam us
Yeah.
over. I'll
Yep.
bring wine.
Dude, you're
think
having the
those-
pre-election
I think I
riots in
lost-
Philadelphia.
So I think I lost 10 pounds in just 7 days. It's a good system.
wow.
Wow.
I think 90% of that is lack of alcohol consumption.
Oh yeah. Bottle a day keeps the pandemic away. Our house.
We're feeling better about it.
We're doing shots of bleach
Great
here.
show. Great show. My only question was how much to Don was how much maybe Dilbert influences his work.
I kind of relate to. I definitely relate to Dilbert, and but it's so funny. I've worked with Scott at a couple of corporate dates, and His humor is. I say if there was a live action Dilbert, I would say that's probably what it is. But he more notices. He's like the Seinfeld of this. He notices the little bitty details. Where I'm loud and obnoxious. So, but I love what he does. I really do. And I also like the Gary Larson and the Far Side. That was my favorite as a kid. That was my favorite.
Yes.
I love that.
I don't know if Pat's still on, but Norm O'Leary, one of our founding one of our chairmen, anyway, had a speaker much like yourself, and he pretended to be the CEO of a spaghetti factory, Mr. Luigi. And it took everybody about 10 to 15 minutes to start figuring out, right? Because he just kept going one zinger after another. I don't think we had video recorders in those days, but I wish we would have recorded that. But
Jose,
very similar to your style.
Jose will appreciate this. Jose saw me do one of these where they bring me in as a consultant. Like they'll say, yeah, we're going to be redoing our development program, and this is the consultant we hired, and I'll come out and I'll actually pretend to be a consultant for a while, and then I'll get ridiculous until they realize I'm just kidding, and then I'll tell them I'm comic, and then I'll do the rest of my show. But almost inevitably, when I get done one of these shows, some engineer will come up to me and go, I actually was disappointed. I actually enjoyed that first part of your act, and I thought you had some good ideas, and no. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
He talked even in a real thick, Italian accent, like he just came off the boat too. And his spaghetti factory made pasta.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
There's a guy who does corporate shows called Mr. Doublespeak who kind of does that. He comes in as a consultant and he says nothing for about 10 straight minutes, and then you realize he's not saying anything. So he's good too.
Well, my cheeks actually hurt from laughing so hard, so I'm gonna have to ice them afterwards.
Oh, sorry, Lisa, I didn't mean to hurt you.
You know what I was saying at the very beginning about the virtual events and me not wanting to use the word webinar, and this is to me an example about how you can deliver a fun moment, right, through a different medium than being in front of the people at a comedy show or at an event. And now that we're all homebound, with limited ability to go to comedy clubs and stuff like that, I mean, I'm so happy we had this. It was quite the relief, to just being here, laughing, and having people really enjoying this event. So, thank you, Don.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It was fun. I've never done a backstage thing like this before. It's really cool. I'm going to suggest that in future ones that they do this. I enjoyed talking to you all.
At CSIA, we have this thing about, you share one idea and you can take 10 with you, right? So it's this whole principle of sharing. And this idea of the backstage was coming from Lisa, but then also from another one of the professional speakers, because he was saying that when I present in an in-person event, people want to talk to me afterwards because they may have questions and so we're going to keep it running for a while, and then those that are done with the show, they leave, and the other ones that want to stick around, they can, and no pressure.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, one of the things I miss about live comedy when I do a live show at a comedy club is I talk to the crowd, but it's very hard to do virtually in Zoom. So it's nice. It's entertaining to me. You guys made me laugh, so there you go. Don't tell anybody, but you're entertaining me. I'm not paying for it though.
I went to a comedy show one time, and I had a loud shirt, and so the comedian was going, yes, the comedian was asking me if I was supporting Hawaii 5-0 reruns.
I can see that. That's a good line. I like that line. I'm still remember. I forgot to write down that senior vice president joke you told me about the other day. I got to write that down. You're the senior vice president. Does that mean you get 50% off your meal?
At Dennis.
I forgot to do that joke. I got to write that down. You reminded me. I've forgotten more good jokes than I've written.
No, I'm no longer a senior vice president. I'm a CEO. So I don't get the discount.
Just write it off.
All right.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you all.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
take care.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Thank you so much.
Great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Everybody, thanks for coming out
Take
tonight.
care. Thanks, Colin. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks,
Bye.
Jose.
Thank you, panelists. Thank you, John.
Bye.
Yep.